So welcome to Group 2 presentations on customer behavior. This week, we're talking about how customers' behavior vary based on their reference groups. And here's our group content. Before I talk about the four criteria of the type of groups, I would talk about a reference group is a group whose received perspectives or values are being used by an individual as the basis of his or her current behavior. Thus, a reference group is simply a group that an individual uses as a guide for a behavior in a specific situation. Basically, there could only be one reference group at a time, so there are four main criteria that decide whether a group affects a member's behavior. So the first one is membership. Membership, in general sense, refers to the state of being a member of or part of a particular group, organization, or category. It signifies the relationship or status of belonging to that specific entity. For example, a local photographic club called Shutterbirds. People who have an interest in photography can become members of this club by meeting certain criteria and fulfilling specific requirements. So the next criteria is the strength of social tie. So the strength of a social tie in the context of social relationships and network theory refers to the degree of intimacy, closeness, or intensity in a connection between two individuals or entities within a social network. So the concept it represents how strong or weak the bond is between people. The concept was popularized by sociologist Mark Granovetter in his seminal paper, The Strength of Weak Ties. So the strength of social tie have strong tie and weak tie. So with strong tie typically represent close, intimate relationships characterized by trust, emotional support, and frequent interaction. For example, your best friend from childhood with whom you have maintained a close and supportive relationship over the years. You share personal secrets, celebrate major life events together, and provide emotional support during difficult times. For weak ties, on the other hand, are connections that are less intimate and involve less frequent interaction. To give the example for this, imagine a former coworker whom you haven't seen in several years, but are still connected with on social media. You may not interact often, but this weak tie might come in handy when you need job-related advice or of information from the industry network. So the third criteria is the type of contact. The type of contact, which is direct or indirect contact, works similarly. When performing direct or face-to-face conversation, people could express their emotions more easily, thus get intimate faster. Um, so, well, that was the case until the internet was invented. Nowadays, we have social media with video calls and stuff, closing the gap between direct and indirect interaction. And finally, attraction. Attraction in this context pertains to the appeal of desirability that belonging to a specific group holds for an individual. This appeal can span a spectrum from negative to positive. Even groups with a negative desirability, known as dissociative reference groups, have the capacity to impact behavior, much like groups with positive desirability. For instance, teenagers often stay clear of clothing styles associated with older consumers, illustrating the influence of dissociative reference groups. Conversely, non-membership groups with a positive attraction, referred to as aspiration reference groups, also wield a substantial influence. Individuals frequently make purchase of products they believe are used by the coveted group, either to attain actual membership in that group or to symbolically align themselves with it.
My name is Kim and I will present Learning After 2. We are gonna discuss consumption subculture, including brand and online communities and their importance for marketing. So, what is consumption subculture? They are distinct homogeneous groups of people united by a common commitment to a particular set of consumption items or activities. And this group have an identifiable hierarchical social structure, shared beliefs or values, unique jargon, rituals, and models of symbolic expression. So let's take cosplay as an example. The enthusiast will dress and makeup to resemble their character as accurately as possible, and everyone has the opportunity to participate as long as they have passion, respect, admiration for the character, and cosplayer will establish an organization to facilitate the exchange and reparation of customs. Moving to a brand community, a specialized, non-geographically constrained group based on a structured set of social relationships between brand admirers, and brand communities can add value to the ownership of the product and build intense loyalty. For instance, Olive Young is the leading retailer of health and cosmetic products in South Korea and is well known throughout Asia. They sell directly in store and online, and in 2017, Olive Young enhanced online commerce by launching a website and allowing customers to review goods with the goal of fostering a culture in which customers actively post product review. It is the evidence that they intend to create a long-lasting, cohesive, well-informed beauty community by promoting conversational purchasing. As the Olive Young example, brand communities create value to set up activities or practices that create brand engagement. Lastly, we have online communities and social networks. What is online community? A group of people who use a particular internet service or belong to a particular group on the internet. Such interaction can occur in a number of formats, such as online message boards or social media. A social networking site is a service available on the internet that enables users to create a public or semi-public profile within a file system. Number two, articulate a list of other users with whom they share a connection. And number three, view and navigate the list of connections and those made by others within the system. A few general guiding principles that marketers learn to effectively utilize in social media. First one, be transparent. In online communities, it is critical that companies identify themselves and any posted content as such. For instance, Coca-Cola publicly posts organizational activities including policy, financial information, and values committed to the community. The second principle is be a part of the community. Online communities often expect that the company will be part of the community and not just market to it. Finally, utilize the specific capabilities of each venue. Some companies prefer to run the product ads on websites like Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram rather than traditional banner or publicists.
Next part, I will talk about the reference group influence on the consumption process. There are three types of reference group influence. And the first one is informational influence. Is the type of social influence in which people change their behavior, opinions, or beliefs as a result of information they receive from others. According to Ditch and Girard, theory of informational social influence, individual conform because they perceive the group as a true, trustworthy source of information. This type of conformity occurs most frequently in ambiguous or uncertain situations where individuals are unsure of the appropriate behavior or response. For example, following emergency evacuation instructions, when lost in a new city, seek direction from locals. People sometimes change their behavior, thoughts, or value in order to be liked and accepted by others, which is referred to as normative influence. This leads to conformity with individuals, changing their utterance or demeanor to conform to what they perceive to be the norm. The typical example of normative influence is when a child wears a certain style of clothing to fit in with their classmates, even if they do not personally like it, but do so because they want to be accepted by their peers. Is identification influence. Identification occurs when people are influenced by someone they admire and respect, such as a well-known celebrity. Internalization occurs when people publicly and privately accept a belief or behavior. For example, there is some famous people in Vietnam in the world. That a lot of people now want to follow their style to make more money or they're fashionable.
Information, opinion, or experiences about product service are friends with other people, usually through oral or written means, given that individuals are more likely to believe the advice of their friends, family, or peer than that of other sources of information. Word of mouth marketing may have a significant impact on consumer behavior. When a consumer of Apple expressed delight for the product by posting a picture of their friend's new iPhone 15 on Instagram and tagging the company, whenever one of your friends read about a new Netflix series that they have been binge watching, additionally, they give you some spoiler and it's hard you to watch it right now. Communication is the process of transmitting information to a large and diverse audience with some people who are thought to be the leader. This type of mass media information where the message goes through the intermediary before approaching the final object. Intermediary are influencer, individual or group who set follower attitude and behavior by filtering, explaining, and modifying messages based on their interest and opinion, which example like a fashion brand can utilize a multi-step flow strategy to strengthen consumer part and demand for their new product line. They may first create and distribute promotional content that showcase the feature, style, and price of the product line, such as photo, video, or blogs. The content may be used or consumed by some celebrity who are a popular individual or group that have a large fan base or media presence. Celebrities use social media to promote their product line, creating a social proof effect that influences fans who then portray, try, and trade the product, boosting it.
So let's move to learning Objectify. It has three main parts. With improved information sharing can take different routes. It's either direct, where someone actively seeks or volunteer information, or indirect, occurring naturally as individual observe group interaction. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for comprehending group behavior. Obviously, observation and direct word of mouth often operate together. Put the figure on the likelihood of seeking an opinion leader. For instance, imagine you are interested in buying a new smartphone. You see a classmate using the latest model from a well-known brand. Curious, you start a conversation about the phone feature and performance, seeking their advice on whether it's worth the investment. This interaction, based on your observation and discussion, highlight how opinion leader and word of mouth play a crucial role in shaping consumer decisions. Let's explore opinion leader key traits. Opinion leaders are deeply involved in specific product categories, making them experts through enduring experience. They influence others primarily through interpersonal communication and observation, often sharing similarities with those they influence. Now, let's discuss identifying and targeting opinion leaders. Offline, specialized media sources help reach opinion leaders. Nike, for instance, could target jogging enthusiasts through magazines like Run the World, and online opinion leaders can be identified by their activity and influence within specific areas. Take sneakerhead blogger Matt Houghfield, for example. We explore market movement, influencer, and influencer. Market movement are generalists who share broad product knowledge and information. They extroverted and media savvy. Influencer, representing 10% of the population, influence the majority. They actively engage in word of mouth and media use. And influencers, 10% of the online adult community, have extensive impact online and offline. They rely on the internet and social media, with brand familiarity being crucial when targeting them.
Okay, so now we will move to the marketing strategy, WOM, and opinion leadership. WOM and influential consumers are becoming more and more important components of marketing campaigns. We will examine some marketing strategies designed to generate WOM and encourage opinion leadership next. First, advertising can stimulate and simulate WOM and opinion leadership. Next one is product sampling. Sampling, sometimes called seeding, involves getting a samples of a product into the hands of a group of potential consumers. Next one is retailing and personal selling. The numerous opportunities exist for retailers and sales personnel to use opinion leadership. And the last one is the creating burst. Burst can be defined as the expansions of what is happened when word spread like wildfires, with no or limited mass media advertising supporting it. Now we move to the examples. So the first one is the advertisings, and Dove generate interest using a combination of advertisings and so-called passes onto to stimulate WOM. They ran an ad offering 2 free bars of Dove to anyone who would recommend free friends, who also get a free bar of soap that was gift wrapped with the name of their intimidating friends. And next is the sampling in an attempt to increase the preference for Dockers among the key 24 to 35. Levi Strauss grid of positions of urban networkers in key cities. This could involve noticing a new band that was beginning to catch and providing stalker to the members. And next is an example would be Gillette, AS, and glass officers to store like Abercrombie and Fitch, which caters to older teens and college students. And the last one, the example for the birds is Harry Potter. It's a story, a world of witch and wizard Hogwarts, where Lord Voldemort has been in crisis for many years. This thrill has made viewers feel curious and very excited.
To learning objective 6, we will discuss the innovations, diffusion, and use on innovation analysis to develop marketing strategy. But first, let's understand all of these definitions. So how do we define innovations? Is it a given product? Is an innovation that is determined by the perceptions of the potential market, not by an objective measure of technological change. And about the diffusions, this is the spreading of something more widely. And innovation diffusions, it is the process in which innovation spread throughout a market. Some example for the innovation diffusion I provide here is smartphone and photography. In the day smartphone were established to everyone, many people thought that was it necessary for my life? Do I need to buy smartphone? But after use smartphone, they know its advantages and its benefit. And they realize smartphone is one of the most important things they need in our life. And about the photography, like the first photography was introduced in to China in the 19th century. People at the time have a relaxed feeling when they staring back at the old face on a piece of paper. They thought there was an evil Russian taking away their soul. As time went by, people gradually understood and accepted it. We can see that nowadays photography is everywhere in the world. One strategy often used by managers to diffuse innovations is segmentation. That is, after selecting a general target market, the firm should concentrate on those customers who are likely to be like just early adopters. And to do this, they will need to emphasize the product's novelty and inventive qualities as well as its basic functions. If the innovation diffuses well, the late majority should become the center of attention. At this time, they should emphasize the popularity of the product and its track record of reliable performance. In 1895, the invention of X-ray was a major breakthrough in the medical revolutions because it has allowed the non-invasive viewing of internal organs and bone structures of animals and people. So the innovation didn't have any disadvantages. But until 1896, the negative effects of radiation on health were apparent. But however, this wasn't enough to dissuade would-be user because it was still better than you have having an operations. So as technology advances, the harm of X-ray are gradually reduced, and the effectiveness of technologies had been thoroughly verified. And as a result, X-ray diffused rapidly across the world, and to this day, they are the biggest revenue generator in the healthcare. Thank you for your listening.